So we're back at it again, playing a game called Escape from Wormwood, a visual novel where you get cut up and eaten by some mouse cultists, and well, there's not much else to be said there. After my last video, I just wanted to play something chill, so if you're into cannibalism, then you might as well stick around. That being said, let's get right into it. When you come to, you're in a strange and unfamiliar dark room. Your stomach aches and you feel nauseous. Thick ropes bind your chest tightly, but they aren't the source of your pain. You remember now, several days ago you left on a research expedition into the rainforests with two of your colleagues. Forced to do a little foraging on the way back, the three of you ingested some berries that you sure now were poisonous. Your colleagues sit beside you, unmoving. The air smells like metal. Whoa. Okay, it looks like that we are in some kind of dungeon with our colleagues. Check surroundings, think about how you got here, try to wake the others. Let's try to wake the others. Pete? Is this Pete? You whisper urgently to the witch beside you, but she doesn't respond. Squirming against your restraints, you attempt to lean your head on her chest to listen for a heartbeat. After a few moments, you're sure you can hear one faintly, despite the distracting pounding in your own chest. The current state of the rat beside her is something you won't be able to confirm for yourself. The door suddenly opens, startling you back into an upright position. You shut your eyes tightly to shield them from the harsh daylight. A masked being has entered the room. Oh. They approach. Your eyes remain locked on them the entire time, but they move past you and over to the rat. Their stature is that of a child's, but that's typical of a mouse, you think. When they pull out a knife, you pray that it isn't a child at all. And when they lift the rat's arm and glide their blade down it, you pray that it's a sadistic adult acting alone. Because if they're a lone murderer in the jungle, that gives you the greatest chance of escape. If it's a child acting within a group, not only do you have no chance, but it's also horrific and heartbreaking and bleak. What do you mean? Listen, if you're like in a life and death situation, you gotta do what you gotta do. Kill the child. As the blood drains from the rat who doesn't deserve this, you swallow, dizzy, and try your best to remain calm. Say something, you fool. You tell him to stop. You shouldn't cut people like that. He'll die. Okay. You're able to say it firmly, but the mouse ignores you. Let me go, please. I'm just a researcher. I won't report this. I'll never return here, please. I'll do anything. Of course, they can't understand you. That's what the translator was for, but he's not waking up now. The translator? The mouse pulls a cloth from their pocket to wipe the knife. Once it's clean, they look to you for a long moment. You think desperately how you can convey to them that you mean them no harm, and that you only want to go home. But instead the nausea you've been staving off of comes to a head, thanks to the inescapable smell of your colleague's blood. You lean forward and vomit helplessly onto the floor. The mouse kneels down in front of you. The rubber rain boots squeak lightly as they move. When you look up at their face, the mask, they bring the soiled cloth to the sides of your mouth, dabbing the mess away. Oh! You'd almost believe it was a small kindness, if not for the faint taste of blood on your lips. The mouse seems to study your face for a moment, but you can only stare back in stunned silence. What use are words if the mouse can't seem to understand you anyway? They stand, then open the door to leave. You hang your head as the despair of your situation hits you in a wave. You sit there sobbing in the darkness as you listen to the slow drip of the drain in front of you. Oh? Day 2? The witch beside you still hasn't woken up. Pete is much older than you, with a weaker constitution. As a witch, you expected she would be a little sturdier, but apparently not. Being able to use magic doesn't guarantee protection from poison. Her specialty lies in photography, not medicine. She isn't wounded though, at least not in any obvious way. It isn't her blood that stains the floor where you sit. The only one the mouse seems to have cut into so far is the rat, Moss. Think about the witch? Okay, so I've came to the conclusion that we are in a D&D session and that somehow I ended up in a dungeon. What do we do? I think we, think about the rat. You spent most of the previous night reflecting on everything that happened. At first, it was easy to pin everything on Moss. If you hired anyone else, you might not be here right now. There's no question about it. But this job paid well, compared to other work being offered in the area. He must have been highly incentivized to lie in order to take it. It's unfortunate that his decision endangered the lives of all three of you, but maybe he really thought of himself as capable enough. At the very least, it wasn't the kind of mistake you believe he should die for, though Pete certainly disagrees. You tried to keep her from killing him, only for the three of you to end up here. And now he's You can't think about Moss any longer. Okay, think about the witch. Pete is employed by the very institution as you are. She's well known within her field, undeniably skilled with decades of experience. You were honestly excited to get to work with her until you realized she was surprisingly old-fashioned, viewing the cultures you studied as uncivilized and beneath her. She exploded at Moss once. His incompetence was made clear. You tried to get between them, and your supplies were lost in the scuffle. If she had kept calm, you could have worked together to find a way back to the path marked on your map. You want to blame her, but you were angry at the rat's deception too. Morale was completely shot by the time you gave in and tried those berries. Of everything you could have eaten, the berries were... None of you asked to end up in this situation. Whew. Think of a way out. You need to think of a way out. It's probably too late for Moss, but if you could just untie yourself and Pete. The ropes refuse to loosen themselves no matter which direction you bend your torso. Without something sharp to cut through the fibers, you'll be stuck like this. You lean your full weight onto Pete again, as if you continued throughout the night. Pete, please, wake up. You hate having to face this alone. Even if this witch were to only offer unpleasant remarks, at this point you'd accept them with full gratitude. The door opens again for the first time since yesterday. The sudden sound of heavy rain causes you to jolt, but you remain frozen, lying against Pete's shoulder. The mouse is here again. Is it the same one as before? Judging by their stature, you imagine it must be. They walk past you and over to Moss. They pull out the knife again. You can't bring yourself to watch this time. You only wish you could cover your ears. That way, you wouldn't have to hear the sounds of flesh and muscle parting, of his blood pouring out from his severed veins and splattering loudly onto the floor. Why are you doing this? Please! You cry, because you can't think of anything else to do. You can't just sit and wait for your turn to be flayed. But you can't move, and the mouse won't listen to you, so you sit there, whimpering until you hear a loud thud. You finally open your eyes to see Moss's corpse, a misshapen lump on the floor. Even in this low light, you can tell what was once human skin has become coarse fur, a quirk of animal folk. They return to their bestial form upon death. Having forgotten that, you realize he must have been alive and unconscious until now. You remain calm. Why would we panic? Your mind is racing, but you shut every single one of those thoughts out in order to survive. Moss is dead, but your position is unchanged. You have to escape. The mouse begins dragging the larger rat's body across the room, inch by inch. You're breathing hard, but as you watch this tiny mouse struggle to move this heavy corpse, you almost feel bad for them. That's when you finally think of something you can do. Hey, untie me. The mouse stays focused on their task. He's heavy, right? Untie me and I can help you move the body. Alright. You almost can't believe what you're saying. Your shaky breath steadies the more you talk. It's so sad watching you try to move him alone. Please, can I help you? The mouse stops to look at you. Their masked face sends a chill down your spine. You worry that being able to read their expression would feel even worse. You have their attention. You have to commit to this now. Where are you moving him? I can help you. I promise I'll help. But I can only do that if you untie me. And you can tie me up again afterwards, of course. I'll cooperate, please. I just want to help. The mouse steps over the rat's body and kneels in front of you, the same as they did when you vomited yesterday. I'm not supposed to talk to you. Your eyes light up. She can understand you after all. Her voice sounds young and feminine. This is a child being forced to do horrible things by some monster. You can talk her into releasing you. You have to. It's your only path forward. I won't talk. I'll just live. It's just so sad watching you. I can't bear it. She draws her knife, and for a moment you think she's about to silence you for good, but instead she cuts through a piece of rope. I'd like to move this to the table. You do as the mouse commands. What are we doing, man? Pete woke up last night. You filled her in on everything that happened. Moss's death, your mass capture. You left out the part where you convinced the mouse to untie you. You pretend she didn't say a word to you. You hadn't said anything more to her either, and even let her tie you up again in the end, as promised. Pete would only scorn you for not putting up more of a fight if she knew. Although, she's still rather delirious and weak. She ate the largest share of the berries. Now that you think of it, you don't know how much she'll fight back or if she'll be able to help you at all. Let's just talk to Pete. Pete, are you still awake? Yes. The level of annoyance in her voice is far higher than usual. You imagine she's in a lot of pain. You should try to come up with a solid escape plan, don't you think? That's what I've been thinking of ever since waking up. Do not interrupt me again if you want to live. Alright, where's that child? Let's just have her murder her. It doesn't seem like she's willing to coordinate with you. That's fine. It's exactly why you've already set your own plan in motion. You can't depend on each other. But escaping together, if at all possible, would be ideal. You don't like her, but leaving this witch behind would haunt you for the rest of your life. You're sure Moss's death will too. Think about what to do next. Don't think about Moss. Your ropes aren't as tight as they were before. You've tried squirming around again, but you haven't gotten them to budge. Still, they're a little less uncomfortable. Your muscles are stiff from being stuck in one position on the floor. You wonder if the mouse would be willing to leave you untied in this room. The door is locked anyways. You need to earn more of her trust. At the very least, you'd rather Pete be the one to be drained next. The door opens and the mouse enters the room. Let us go. We can pay. Do you understand? Pete speaks quickly in a demanding tone, but the mouse ignores her as expected. What is it you want? Food? Wealth? I won't be made into a ritual sacrifice. We can make this worth your while. The mouse kneels down before the witch and holds a knife to her skin. Pete flails in a panic, knocking the knife from her hands. It slides across the floor toward the drain, but it doesn't fall in. Oops. The mouse calmly collects her knife. You're silent, thinking desperately of a way to delay her further. Loam told me all about how you butchered that rat. You collected his meat for what? Are you cannibals? Or do you toss the remains into a pit and appease your god, you fucking savages? She falls over to where Moss once sat, flailing dangerously again as the mouse takes slow steps toward her. An idea comes to mind. Offer to help? Do we get to kill the witch together with the power of friendship? You swallow hard before asking, would you like some help again? Pete stops flailing all at once. You can feel both of them staring at you, but your eyes are fixed on your captor's mask. The mouse nods. Okay. Did we just murder Pete? Pete refuses to speak to you. Oh, you're still alive? Damn it, what do we do? You tried to explain that you only held her down like that as part of your ploy to earn the mouse's trust. And you got results. You convinced her that she didn't need to trouble herself with tying ropes around your whole body. So today, it's just your hands that are tied. You've been able to pace about the room, which feels much better than sitting on the hard floor. Your odds of survival are slowly increasing. You don't worry about Pete's blood spilling down the drain. She's weakened, but still alive. The cut was far from fatal. Sure, let's talk to Pete after we got them, cut. You didn't need to call them savages, Pete gives you a silent glare. It's offensive. If they were city mice, you'd call them murderers, right? So just say murderers. Loam. You are, for once, relieved to hear her voice. Yes? I do not need your lecture on political correctness when I am bleeding out because of you. You purse your lips. Sorry. It was worth it. Think of what to do next. You rack your brain trying to figure out your next move, but it's hard to think on an empty stomach. You've been running on adrenaline these past few days and your nerves are completely shot. You were, at the very least, given some water yesterday, both you and Pete. They seem to want to keep you alive for a little longer, but you aren't sure exactly why or for how long. Maybe you'll be able to get some answers today. You decide to make that your goal. The little mouse returns. You move back to your place next to Pete in a show of cooperation. When she kneels down and draws her knife, Pete interjects with a level of composure. You're shocked to hear from someone crumpled, bound and bleeding on the floor. Mouse. She should be cutting him instead. You almost can't believe your ears. How does she expect to have any chance at escaping if you're both weak from blood loss? Why me? The mouse pauses to hear you out. You want to cry. He's trying to trick you. He's gaining your trust a little at a time before taking that knife from you and You're almost relieved when your little mouse brings the blade down and pierces her flesh. You feel awful about it, but it spares you another day. Can I ask you a question? The mouse cleans the blade against the cloth as she always does. We're not supposed to talk. I just want to know your name. Hearing her call you Mouse, I felt sad that I didn't know your name. She tilts her head at you as Pete continuously mutters swears under her breath. I should introduce myself first, shouldn't I? My name is Loam. Loam. I'm sorry, I don't have a name I can share. She stands to leave. Is there something I can call you? Something other than Mouse? Pete moans in agony, but you don't let her distract you. You need to keep building trust, or else you'll both be killed. The mouse stares at you for a long while before turning away. I don't know. She opens the door, letting in the roar of heavy rainfall. I'll think of something for you. You yell after her as the door closes. You hope she thinks about it too. Day 5. Oh my gosh. Is Pete dead now? Pete isn't speaking to you again, but this time it's because she hasn't seemed to regain consciousness. Oh, yep, she's dead. Her body is alarmingly cold, but you think she still has a pulse. She isn't dead just yet, but you don't think you'll be able to escape with her anymore. You weren't counting on it to begin with, but it would have been nice not to be alone. You sigh. Your stomach is tearing itself apart with hunger. Talk to Pete. You know, you address the unconscious witch, well aware that she won't respond. I think you're more guilty for where we've ended up. I've only been making the best of a bad situation. You understand that, right? I'm not some monster who wished for you to die. Her silence pains you, so you try to put her out of your mind. Okay, let's go and stretch her legs. You begin pacing around the room. You can't let your muscle atrophy before you can make a run for it. There isn't much space to walk around though, and the more you move, the hungrier you feel. You look down at Pete. Her eyes are still closed. She almost looks peaceful. Think about names. A name for the faceless mouse. No, she isn't faceless, only masked. The group she's working for, the one that tells her not to talk to you, the one keeping her nameless and anonymized. That group is keeping her personhood from her. By giving her a name, you can work toward removing that mask. The door opens again. Each time it does, you brace yourself for a new mouse, a stranger to walk through the door. You brace yourself for your strategy to be completely overturned, for your progress to be reset, and to feel overcome with despair as the stranger drives their blade deep into your flesh, to be cut into pieces, bones discarded, and carried out in metal pails just like moss. But you can tell it's her again. The mouse who will help you escape from this place. Her hood and boots are drenched with rain. She doesn't bother to shake any of it off. Instead, she looks right at you and makes a small sound, like she's smiling under that mask. It's how you want to be greeted, so it's what you imagine that sound must have meant. You smile back. Forgive me for speaking, but I've still been thinking of what to call you. I don't know what kinds of things you like, so I mean, if I give you a name, I think it should be something you'll like. So what do you... I do have a name. You pause, blinking twice. Yesterday you said you didn't, so I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've jumped to conclusions. The mouse kneels down in front of Pete and draws her knife. I can't share it. We're all given sacred names by the highest power. She makes her incision. You don't watch the blood leak from Pete's arm. You can only look at the mask. We're not supposed to share our sacred names, but I think it's okay if I tell you what my name means. And then you can call me something based on that. Does that work? She makes concessions to you. You're compromising. It's something small and trivial, and she's willing to negotiate with you, which means you still have a chance of negotiating your freedom. What does your sacred name mean? Water from the heavens, where the highest power lives. I'm proud of my name, so if you call me something like that, I'll be happy. She wipes her knife. Pete is still what? Trying to think feels like wading through a deep pit of mud, but you finally land on something. Little raindrop. The mouse doesn't react, so you rush to explain. It's not a name, but a term of endearment, like sweetheart or pumpkin. Pumpkin? My grandmother used to call me that back when I was a little tyke. You don't think of the ways Pete reminds you of your late grandmother. How old are you, little raindrop? She thinks for a moment. 16? Too young. She's far too young to be taking lives like this. Okay. Though you realize it's likely because she's so young that this group has been able to mold her into a killer. The mouse turns her attention back to the witch lying still on the floor beside you. It's hard to tell when a witch's heart has stopped beating. Can you help me again? You swallow hard and turn your head to finally face what's become of Pete. Sure. You sit on the blood-soaked floor with ropes tied loosely around your body, though not so loose that you could shuffle your way out of them. The other mice had apparently scolded the little raindrop for leaving you unbound. It wasn't proper. She told you the highest power would be displeased and that she had no choice but to tie you up like before. Your eyelids are heavy. You feel hollow. Somehow you've ended up making negative progress. Today you're all alone. I'm going to try to free myself. You squirm lazily in place on the floor, but the ropes don't give an inch. You want to cry, but you're already dehydrated. You want to go home, but you can't leave this room. You want to die, but only if it will be painless. You don't want to bleed like Moss and Pete did. You don't want to be reduced to chunks of meat and forgotten. It's late when the mouse arrives. So late that you almost believe she wouldn't come today. Your raindrop. Hello. The candlelight reflects off her mask, a terrifying figure. You smile weakly. I'm here because I was able to sneak away with some leftovers. Food? She brought you food. She's still on your side, your little raindrop from the heavens. She came here because she didn't want you to starve. Is it really okay to be giving me your food? I hope you've already eaten your fill. She kneels down in front of you, presenting a bowl of stew. We're having 3 feasts in a row, so I don't mind sharing some. Thank you, little raindrop. Another sound comes from behind the mask, as if she's smiling at you again. You want to believe that. I can't untie you, so I'll feed you myself. She holds up a spoonful of the dark stew. Your eyes linger on the chunks of meat. It's Pete. Pete is in there. Yeah, let's eat it. Let's eat it for little Raindrop. This is what you wanted, right? You want to eat Pete? Yeah, anything for the mouse. You're just doing what you have to in order to survive. It would be all meaningless if you were to die here like this. That's why you have to do whatever it takes. I'm so glad that we got to eat Pete. Whoa, the room's all warpy. For 5 days, your little Raindrop came to visit and made small, horizontal incisions across your wrists. They bled as you chatted with her. You continued to chat in order to take your mind off the pain. You think you're probably going to hell. Yeah, there are all sorts of conceptions of hell in the cultures you've studied, be they cold fury and a transient purgatory, or a realm of eternal punishment. You weren't sure you believed in hell before now, but being faced with your imminent death, you want to believe there must be some kind of afterlife. You can't imagine whatever's next will be a peaceful paradise with your family, your ancestors happily waiting there for you. Surely some sort of retribution is coming for a coward like yourself. What's being done to you now, it isn't enough. The blood coagulates, the wound scabs over, a fresh incision is made. Maybe the only part of you that will ever escape this place is what's already flowed down that drain, but each time the door opens, a little seed of hope is planted. She's here again. She smiles to greet you. She smiles to greet me so I can see her face? Talk about your journal, talk about your field of study. Stop talking for today? Yeah, we'll stop talking for today. Oh, wait, that just makes me No! Oh, whoops. Another day goes by, bleeding and talking late into the night. The little Raindrop yawns, then carefully picks up her candle. I better go to bed. You don't want her to leave. You don't want to be left alone another night in this dark, horrible, blood-stained room. Good night, Lo. See you tomorrow. You offer a weak good night and close your eyes. You don't know how much longer you'll last. Oh, it's raining. You're feeling more lucid today. The hopelessness has left you. You think it's probably your body's last hurrah. Your grandmother was like that too. The day that she passed, you wonder if dying bodies can feel their expiration date coming on. You thought you'd be scared, but really, you spent these past 2 weeks in total fear. You're overdue for a sense of peace. Okay, I'm ready. She raises the knife to your arm and waits for your approval. She'll be forced to reopen an older wound with how many cuts have been left there. Why does it fall on you to signal the go-ahead? It's made this whole thing feel like a slow suicide. It's enough to make you laugh, but the corners of your mouth only curl slightly at the thought before relaxing back in place. In the end, you do give her a nod, and she cuts, and you bleed. You're so cold, but you don't even have the energy to shiver. You wish she brought a blanket, but you can't ask for that now. You don't want to open your eyes again. You thought for a moment that you didn't want to, but... Little Raindrop, could you take off your mask? She hesitates. My mask? Why? I've never seen your face. I'd like to see it once before it's too late. Okay. What? You stare at her for a moment. In this light, you were almost unsure, but there really is a person under there, not some monster. You're worried you might only be fooling yourself believing she was a victim like you. She's still just a child whose view of the world has been warped in such a way that brings harm to others. She can't see the damage she's done. She hasn't had a chance to comprehend it before being put into the situation. Such beautiful, round eyes. Oh, your eyes are nice too. You're able to muster a real laugh this time. You have to say more than that. Listen, little Raindrop, once you prepare my body for the feast, we won't be able to talk anymore. That's okay. The feast is what's important. It's a great honor to be offered up by the highest power. You were chosen. There wasn't enough time. You couldn't get through to her. There was never going to be a way to untangle those immoral beliefs of hers overnight. But if you leave it like this, she may never break free from them. You use all that's left of your strength to lean forward, letting your head fall on her lap. Please learn everything you can about the world, little Raindrop. This higher power of yours isn't the only power that exists. It isn't the only way. She doesn't say anything. You continue. I'm sorry I've only said things that must sound like sacrilege to you, but I hope you can understand it one day. Come to understand it and escape from this place. That is my wish for you. You close your eyes again. You pray to every power you can think of to please let this mouse escape. The end. Part 1 end? What do you mean part 1 end? After the feast that day, I thought the highest power wouldn't be passing down any more blessing for a while. 3 at once had been a lot of work. I had only ever managed 2 at a time before. I thought that maybe the highest power was pleased with how well it went, and that's why it sent us a 4th. I hope this new offering was as nice as you were. If so, I'd go with the slow draining method again. Was that in the perspective of the mouse? Or raindrop? I knew I wasn't supposed to talk to them. Meals are to be eaten, not spoken with. That's the rule. But the monkey was wide awake when I came in to start the draining ritual, and I wanted to see if she was a nice person like you were, Loam. I had a lot of fun talking to you, so I wondered if other outsiders would share their stories with me like you did. She said she was a member of a search party that was sent out to look for a group of researchers who disappeared in the rainforest a month ago. A witch called Pete, a local rat who was hired as their guide, and the leader of the expedition, an anthropologist. Loam. I was happy to hear someone else say your name. I was happy to be able to talk to someone who knew about you, but I couldn't explain all that stuff to any of my brothers without getting in trouble. But when I told the monkey that you and the others were already offered up by the highest power for the feast, and that she didn't need to look for you anymore, she got really upset. Outsiders always have trouble accepting the highest power's will. They can't comprehend the honor being bestowed on them. She struggled a lot, and I wasn't able to use the knife because of that. I'm the only one assigned to the dining preparation house right now, so it's up to me to carry out the ritual. I had to come back later that night when she had calmed down. Things proceeded normally after that. I didn't try talking to her again. Think about Loam. I wish you stopped cutting me. Your words made me hesitate back then. You were always doing me favors, so for a moment I wanted to do so as you asked. I shook my head. I have to do it. Who's telling you that you have to do this, little raindrop? Well, it's in preparation for the feast. I have to follow the steps. Even if what you're doing is wrong, you kept saying things like that, and I didn't like how it made me feel, so I rejected it. It isn't wrong, I'm doing it properly. I wiped the knife clean, and when I looked back at you, you had such a sad expression. Killing people, cutting them up like this, it's always wrong. There's no justification that could ever make it right. Do you know why? I knew I couldn't trust anything outsiders had to say, but I was curious to hear your reason, so I asked. Why? Because life is precious. Each one of us is given only one life, and when it ends, that person's gone forever. It's a loss you can never get back, not even with magic. That's why you mustn't do things that end others' lives. It's wrong, because it takes something away from this world that can never be returned. I tilted my head and thought, but you helped me before, unless that doesn't count. After that, you went quiet and didn't look at me anymore. I wonder why. Once the draining ritual was finished, it was time to get the monkey's body ready for the feast. I had trouble moving it like usual, but I wanted to ask for help. But dining preparation is my responsibility, so my brothers aren't allowed to enter the house. I tried to move the bodies even though they're heavy because it's easier to work at the table. I've been doing this since I was 13, so I have a system. Usually I'll move them a piece at a time, but it's messy to do the cutting on the floor, so I end up doing bigger pieces. When you offered to help, I thought it was lucky because it would save me a lot of time and energy to let me focus on the next step, and I even felt refreshed by the end of it. Mercy from the highest power who knew I had 3 feasts to help prepare. But you're not here anymore. I wouldn't have any help when I had to move you, and when I realized that, I felt a little sad. And every offering from then on, I'd have to go back to moving all the way on my own. Thinking of it as another trial from the highest power sort of helped to ease my mind though. After finishing my work, I stood outside in the rain and gazed up at the sky. No one would call me Little Raindrop anymore. I kept thinking things like that and remembered when you told me about how each life was precious. But there wasn't any way around it. You were an offering sent by the highest power. I couldn't have let you go. During the next feast, I felt kind of sick, so I couldn't eat very much. I prayed to the highest power, hoping it would send me some kind of sign and clear away of my doubts, but I don't think it heard my prayer. My brothers encouraged me to keep praying and told me I would feel better soon, so that's what I did. Stop praying. The next time an offering was sent, I couldn't bring myself to drive the knife into their body. I've been reading your journal a lot. I kept thinking about everything you wrote in there. We weren't supposed to read books the highest power doesn't approve of, but I figured a handwritten journal doesn't really count as a book, so it was okay. But the more I read, I just felt so sad that I couldn't ask you to explain things to me because you were gone. I felt sad that I wasn't already starting to forget the things you did explain to me, the stories you told that weren't written in the journals. and since I felt stuck and couldn't do my work like usual, I ended up untying the ropes. I locked the door for them and they ran outside right away. The others caught them, of course, and they were brought back and tied up again. You really dropped the ball this time. The highest power would have been so unhappy with us if we'd lost the offering. I nodded, feeling ashamed. Well, no harm done. The feast must go on. They patted me on the back with words of encouragement, but I knew I would have to return to my work after that. I knew I was going to have to take another life. I'm not feeling well today. Do you think someone else could do this in my place? You've been saying that a lot lately, but we're all busy with our own tasks. If you really aren't feeling well today, then don't push yourself. Come back to it tomorrow. I'm sure you'll be blessed with a speedy recovery in order to get the job done in time for the feast, brother. We're all counting on you. Okay, I'll rest for the day. I felt guilty for slacking off when everyone else was working so hard. I've always been pretty diligent because the highest power smiles upon diligent mice the most. I wanted to be smiled upon. I started to think that the reason I was feeling bad was because I kept bending the rules, but was what I was doing so wrong? I knew I shouldn't have let an offering go. It wasn't like I was rejecting the highest power's divine will, but when I thought about going through with the whole preparation process again, I wanted to run away from it all. Follow that feeling? This is not where I thought this was going. I mean, we're dead.
I mentioned I've been reading your journal a lot, but actually I've been writing in it too.
There were a lot of blank pages left over. I hope you don't mind me using them. You didn't get a chance to write anything about my village, so I thought I'd write about what life is like here instead. Each of us had a job to do: farm work, cooking, laundry. The highest power assigns us as secret tasks, and the village will prosper as long as those tasks are fulfilled. We wear the same clothes, eat the same things, share the same beds, and put on the same mask. Our masks are a symbol of the highest power. We wear them to reflect its image so that it knows we are its servants. Pushing the highest power is dangerous because it means we could lose its protection. I want our village to be protected, so I wasn't able to question it before. But your writing and your stories, you have me look at things in a new way. If outsiders don't have the protection of the highest power, then how do all those thriving cities you told me about really exist? Is it possible to live a good life while abandoning our sacred tasks? I was too afraid to find out, so I picked up the knife and did what I was supposed to do. I don't think I ever told you this, but someone else was assigned to this task before me, an older brother. He was killed and the offering escaped. I was the one the highest power chose to replace him. It was hard work, but I was happy to have a purpose. I was happy to be chosen back then, but now, I think you were right. That life is precious. You're gone and you'll never come back. And it wasn't just you. How much has been lost from this world with every feast? I started to feel worse and worse about taking part in it. I stopped eating the meat, but I couldn't get out of fulfilling my task, unless I were to go somewhere outside the highest power's reach. One night, I cut a hole in the chain-link fence and stepped outside the village for the first time. I looked up past the thick canopy to the vast starry sky and felt so small. I thought about the scary stories I've been told, what happens to mice in the outside world. If I continued beyond that fence, I'd be entering the realm of dangerous predators who would eat a mouse without a second thought. Maybe that's why my village became what it is, a place where instead mice are the ones to feast on others. And while under the protection of the highest power, I stood under the stars for a long time to see if I'd be able to endure it. And then I retreated back to the safety of my village. Think about Loam. Why won't you listen to me? It was the first and only time you ever raised your voice at me. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'm not feeling well, so I shouldn't take it out on you. It isn't your fault. I just really want to go home. You have to stay for the feast. You buried your face in your knees and let out a muffled scream. That scream became sobs, then whimpers. I'm sorry. It's so hard not to break down. I was surprised by the way your voice cracked as you spoke. You were making a lot of noises I didn't expect from you. So not knowing what else to do, I tried reaching out and patting your shoulder. There. My words worked like a charm. You stopped whimpering. Except, I understand it now. It wasn't acceptance. It was resignation. You felt resigned to your fate. It was painful, having to die, but you knew you couldn't avoid it. So you endured the pain as best you could, up to the very end. That's what I'm doing now, so I understand, though. 2 years later? I thought about leaving for so long. What always stopped me was I still felt like I didn't know anything about the outside world. If I really ran away, where would I sleep? What would I eat? Would anyone protect me? I collected all the information I could. I talked to so many outsiders over the past 2 years, and when I could get away with it, I'd bring them to the hole I made in the fence and push them through. I turned away more and more of these so-called offerings from the highest power, but I was never punished for it. I don't think the highest power really cares anymore, if it ever did to begin with. Something new that occurred to me was, leaving meant I wouldn't be able to help anyone else escape. Both the outsiders that get drawn in for the feasts and my brothers, my sacred task, would be reassigned to the next available mouse. But I realized if I kept worrying about that, I'd be trapped here, continuing to take the lives of others until the day I died. You didn't want that for me, did you, Lo? This way, quickly. The last person I helped escape was a wolf. I never met a wolf before. Their smile, filled with kindness, reminded me of yours. It's not often that people give someone like me a warm welcome. It was nice while it lasted. I couldn't tell if they understood what the feast was. They seemed pretty naive, but here they were, traveling the world despite that. You've been to many places, haven't you? I've always thought about going far away, but I've been too scared. Although, if someone like you managed to survive, I could probably. Someone like me? Am I getting picked on? Sorry, thanks. Because of you, I feel like I can go far too. I gathered my courage while I waited for nightfall. With a small bag of supplies and your journal in hand, I faced the same exit that I pushed so many outsiders through. I still felt so uncertain, but it was time. Escape. I slipped past the fence as quietly as I could and made my way into the rainforest. I used the map you had tucked inside your journal. My village wasn't marked on there, but I knew I'd be able to find my way. I'll travel far, far away from this place and meet all sorts of people and learn all sorts of new and wonderful things. I'll record everything I can in this journal for you, and I won't have to hurt anyone ever again. I'll be an outsider too from now on. I discarded my mask, ran as fast as I could, and thought about what name I'll ask to be called from now on. Okay. Oh, that's cute. Disregarding the fact that we've, been murdered. Oh, I love the art style behind this, by the way. Oh my gosh. Yeah, made by Renpai. I'm gonna follow this developer. That was nice. Thank you for playing. Yeah, that was nice. Okay, that wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I don't know, I was reading the comments on the itch.io page and everyone's like, oh my god, I'm like now traumatized. And like, is it really that horrifying? No, it's somewhat of a sad, dark story with a, good outcome. We like those. But unfortunately, that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you all enjoyed. If you like it, then like it, subscribe if you're new here, and I will see you all next time. Take care, y'all.